Welcome back, guys. Today is a rather exciting video. I've been kind of teasing this video in the background of my previous couple that I got going on, but I finally got to work, and as you can see, the background has definitely changed from the last video, and that's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about my workbench upgrade that I did recently. And we're going to start off with the basics. I'm kind of going to walk through the process. I have some pictures. I don't have any video or aside from like a 360 walk around that I'll be adding to the video in here towards the end. But we're just kind of going to walk through the process. And I'll start off by popping up a picture of my original workbench that you saw in my first couple of videos. It was really small. It actually ended right here, about in line with where I'm sitting, right about here. So I've been on the search for a workbench to add to this one. I was looking for something very similar. This is a Uline like packing table bench, and I couldn't find one that was the right table depth and width and height and all that. So I just said screw it. I went on a local like a Craigslist site, and I found a guy selling solid core uh, doors. Now I got two doors to start, and this is the two doors are the original workbench. There's one here and one here in an L shape. It's about 14 foot lengthwise of usable space. And then I said, you know what? I want to put some shelves up because I had a garage shelf style shelving unit that took up a lot of space, and it was pretty big and bulky, and it was just nothing but taking up area and made this room very claustrophobic. This room is very small, so I was trying to get a little bit more open space. So I contacted him again and said, hey, I'd like to buy two more doors from you. So we met up. I got two more of them, and then I cut them down for these shelves. Now these shelves are put up with heavy duty L brackets. They're rated for, I believe the package said 1,000 pounds per pair. And because I know I was going to put a bunch of heavy stuff, like I got all my components up here. Everything that I use to reload, start to finish, is up here on this storage shelf. So I said, all right, I don't want to risk it. And I went and bought three brackets for each of the lower shelves. So I have six total L brackets holding these lower shelves up, and these follow the same L shape all the way around. And then I also have an upper shelf. I'm not sure if the camera is getting that in view, but there's an upper shelf that's just for like displaying knickknacks and stuff that I found along my reloading journey that I find cool, and stuff that I want to display. Something that has a story attached to it, something that I can look up and be like, huh. I remember when I got that. I remember why I have that, and there's a story that goes along with it. It's just kind of like a conversation piece for when I have people over and I'm showing off my bench that I got here. So those aren't going to have as much weight on them. I mean, there's probably, uh, if I had to guess right now, less than 100 pounds on that top L um, shelf the whole way around, less than 100 pounds. So I decided to just go with a pair of brackets, one on each end, and um, so they're not holding a lot of weight, but they're still able to hold weight if need be. One of the problems I ran into is this house was built and renovated multiple times. So there's actually, the studs aren't, the normal like new construction houses have a set code that these studs are. These are the old plaster and slat style walls where there's like the wood slats that go lengthwise horizontally and then plaster over top of it. Well, it's been renovated so many times, my stud finder couldn't find the stud, so it was a real mess trying to get studs figured out. Um, so I got the bench put in, I got the shelves and the brackets put in, I connected everything together, all the connections here in the corner are with flat metal brackets, countertop brackets and stuff. So everything's all solid. It's all structural and held together, and that's how we went with that. Then the next step along this process was I got some soundproofing tiles that I put up because this room, I'm sure you can tell in the video here, has a little bit of an echo to it. I'm trying to cut that down by adding soundproofing tiles, like the wall peel and stick tiles that you see in like a recording studio, or that kind of thing. So I got some of those and I put them up. I still have some more, but I have to buy more. This is still an ongoing project. It's just far enough through the completion of it that I felt comfortable making a video. And we'll get into the future upgrades and the rest of the stuff that's to come with this workbench here in a little bit. So put those up, and that really helped dull down the echoiness a little bit. The next step in the process was I put this slat wall up here in the background, and I put the aluminum channels in them to help give it extra strength and rigidity and hold more weight. Now, this is going to be where I'm going to store my dies and all of my little hand tools and the stuff that I use on a regular when I'm reloading ammo. So I got those on order right now. Those should be here within a week or two. So I'll get that all put together, and that'll be that. And then after I got the slat wall put in, what I did was I ended up taking these shelves off of the brackets, unscrewing them from the brackets, and there's actually recessed lighting in here. Hold on, I'll get up and turn the light switch on and off for you. There's actually recessed lighting all along this lower shelf so that I can see my workbench a little clearer, and it's got a dimming setting, and it's got full brightness is right there. So what I did was I took my router and I routed in a channel in the front and the back, and I have pictures of this. So I'll as I'm going along in my process, and I have a picture for it, I'll pop it up on the screen here. So I took a 90-degree V router bit, and I routed two channels in, one up here in the front and one up here in the back. And then I put the front strip of lights on the front side of that notch. So imagine the notch is like this in the bottom of the bench, or in the bottom of the shelf. I took the front set of lights and I put them on this edge so that they're shining towards the back of the bench. And the reason I did that was because when I put my shelves here to store my dies and all my tools and stuff, I didn't want there to be a shadow cast where it would just block out all the light that was going to the bench, because I need this as a functional upgrade. This is not just for looks or aesthetics or whatever. It's a functional piece of the bench build. So I wanted to make sure that I could utilize the entire depth of my bench at any given point. So I did that on the front, so they're sitting on an angle this way, shining towards the back corner of the bench. And then I did the exact opposite on the back side. So V notch, running along the bench this way. I put the lights on the back side of it facing to the forward, so that no matter which way you're looking, or no matter if you cover up something or have a shelf there should be light being able to get to the front and to the back of the bench at all times. That's the plan, at least. I don't know. We'll see in practice how it works out. So that was a major, major mess. I did all this in this room. I didn't take these out and do them in a workshop or outside or nothing. So there was sawdust everywhere. It took me longer to clean than it took me to cut the channels and put the lights in. Like, it was just a mess. So I got that all figured out and done. And then the process was that I wiped everything down, cleaned it, got everything ready to be, loaded up with all the stuff that I have here. And I took all of the stuff off of the garage storage shelf that I was telling you about earlier. And I put it all up here. Like, this is all stuff that was on a 4x4 4 foot by 2 foot deep shelf set. So everything here was on that shelf yesterday. So I removed that out of here, got that all broken down, taken out, and it really opened up a lot of open space. It doesn't feel as claustrophobic because when you walked in here, the door was, 90 degrees from the doorway. It was like straight open and that was it. You didn't have any room to swing it open any farther. It felt very claustrophobic in here. Like you had about, I don't know, I'd say 3.5 feet of walking space basically in this entire room. So I was really excited to get that taken down and all the stuff put up here. And honestly, I was really testing myself to see if my shelves, my homemade shelves, stood up to the test, and they are. I mean, these things are solid. They don't move at all, not even a little bit. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. And okay, so that's basically brings us up to speed here as far as we go. I do have some fishing stuff and whatever else. I call this my sportsman's room because I spend a lot of time outdoors. I do a lot of fishing in the early of the year and middle of the year. I tend to spend a lot of time at the range, developing loads and testing new stuff and playing around, doing gun guy stuff. And then late summer, early fall, I start transitioning over to scouting for bow season and setting up trail cams, going on hikes, that kind of thing. So I do have other stuff here in the corner. You'll see in the 360 pan around that I have just a little Rubbermaid plastic 2-tier shelf that I just have my fishing gear stored on. I got a rod holder in the corner and all that. So that's about, I mean, there's some stuff that you'll see behind the camera here in a little bit when I put in the 360 walk around. It's literally from opening the door, walking, panning all the way around with a good view of all the way to the ceiling, so you can see all the cool stuff that I got. As far as future upgrades go, I'm going to get more soundproofing tiles because it is still echoey in here. I'm going to do part of this wall over here, try and cut down as much reverb as possible. What else? I got plans for doing flush mounted power outlets in the workbench itself because there's only 2 outlets in this entire underneath this bench. There's only 2 outlets. So there's one in this corner directly behind me, and then one right about where I'm sitting is the other outlet, and that's it. So I'm going to get some flush mount where you cut out a hole and mount it into the bench. So I'm going to do one here, one in that corner to run my ultrasonic cleaner and my brass dryer, and then probably one pretty close to the very edge of the bench over there, and that'll be all the power that I'm going to need for running anything that I do over here. One of the major things that I'm really excited about, and I have yet to buy it. I'm going to. It's pretty expensive, so I want to make sure I get exactly what I want when I want it. I'm gonna get a bench mounted gun vise for this section of the bench here that you're not looking at right now. Is going to be for working on guns and bows and fletching arrows, and that's going to be my workshop area of it. This is the reloading area. I got a spot behind me here. I'm not sure if you can see it. That's where my laptop is set up for doing my video editing and all that. So I'm going to buy a bench mounted gun vise for doing gunsmithing and working on stuff and just the general hobbyist gunsmithing. One other thing that's going to happen here, there's actually 2 more things before I end this video. One more thing that's going to happen is I'm going to get some RGB lights and just some aesthetic lighting for up top. We're going to have it so it points up to the ceiling. So it'll kind of be backlit all along that top shelf, and I'll be able to change the colors and all that. The fancy color changing lights with your phone and all that jazz. So that's one more thing that I'm pretty excited about. I haven't bought that because, like I said, it's just an aesthetic thing. It's not functional, so it's not high on the priority list of stuff to get done. And then the last thing that's going to get done is I'm going to get hook and loop like Velcro. I'm gonna get the hook section and like a sheet, and I'm gonna put it up on the wall here, and I'm gonna hang all my morale patches that I got. So that's the last thing that has to get done here before I would call this complete and ready to go. There's a couple of cool things coming up here in the very near future. We'll get to that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, as they say. So this is what I was really excited about. I have my quick change plate for my new press in the mail. It's on the way here. So once that gets here, I'm really excited to try that out. It's actually sitting up there directly in front of where I'm looking here. But as far as that goes, I mean, this is it. This is the big project that I've been working on for like about a month now. Between buying the stuff and kind of checking out prices and making sure I had stuff laying around ready to go. And one thing I want to say is I could not have done this without the help of a few good friends. I had one buddy come up. He drove over an hour up here. A couple of friends of mine came up, and we just worked at it for hours one day, and they really helped me get this set up. I mean, without them, I'd still be, I don't even know. I probably wouldn't even have the second section of this bench put in yet. So, you know, with a little bit of help, we got this taken care of, and I'm extremely excited about it. I'm extremely happy with it, and I can't wait to make some really good content for you guys. We're gonna get some good projects going here. We got a bunch of stuff lined up. I got, I don't know, 50 plus ideas for content, you know, videos that we're gonna get going on. And so this was the big video, the big surprise. So all right, that'll do it. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Till next time.